tracking dogs at Flight Deck. You might. Okay, you're on.
Okay.
Oh no. Should I be in the front? So you're on that screen right there. Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. That's great. Hi, everybody! Hey! So, wow, like I cried really quick. Yeah, you want it? Hold on a sec, please. If you want to bring Levi, you can bring him in here too.
Do you want me to hang on to him? I can hang on to him.
So thanks for those who are coming for our seminar for the Lost Pet Tracking Dogs question and answer seminar. My name is Lisa. I'm actually the owner and the trainer and handler for all 10 of the canines that we had. This is Amanda, Suzanne, who are actually my lead canine handlers who are actually working the dogs, full-time handlers. So anyway, just to give you a little bit of information about who we are, why we're here, clarify some myths about canine tracking dogs. That's why we're having this seminar today. So everybody is welcome. We're going to actually answer all of your questions at the end. And most of them will probably be answered during our presentation. So everybody has their questions written down, whatever, keep them, and then save them until the end. So anyway, like I said, I'm Lisa. I started this company because my own dog went missing. So for all of those who have missing pets, who have had the awful phone call to somebody else to help them find their lost pet, I've been in your shoes. So that is why this canine company is in effect today. I'm a nurse. I'm actually still a full-time nurse. I'm an ICU nurse, cardiac, open heart nurse, and I've been working full-time for the last 17 years, in addition to having a canine company that actually works full-time during the daytime while I'm working at night. Thank God, with my amazing handlers, my friends, and my volunteers, Monique and Rennie, we were able to be successful. So anyway, I've got we have 10 canines. This is Levi actually right now. Thank you, Suzanne, who actually literally just came in from tracking from Massachusetts, then Connecticut to come in on time. Thank you. And this is Levi. So anyway, I had a dog that went missing. I was a nurse, full-time nurse. My dog, Cappuccino, went missing after I had a doggy door put in. I had no idea how she went missing, where she was, how to find anybody, any help, come and help locate her. Long story short, I called everybody from here to Texas, to Maryland, to Florida, and then found one specific canine tracking team from Maryland to come up and look for my lost dog. Unfortunately, later on, found out it was a search and rescue dog, which is completely different from scent-specific tracking dogs. After spending probably about $16,000 worth of material, canines to come help look for my lost dog, it was actually volunteers who helped found my dog, who was unfortunately found deceased from one of my best friends, Peter, and how I actually met one of my handlers. Found deceased only 0.5 miles from my house after searching for over 40 miles. Come to find out, a search and rescue dog is different from a canine scent-specific tracking dog, which is why now in Maine we have the only scent-specific canine tracking team here. So anyway, people always ask us, how do the canines work? What do you guys actually do? What we actually do is we have 10 scent-specific canine tracking dogs. What these guys differ from scent or search and rescue dogs. I'll give you an example. If an airplane crashes on the ground and you have a whole airplane filled with people, unfortunately, past, deceased, still alive on the ground, search and rescue dogs will come in and find every single one of those dogs. Here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. The difference between search and rescue dogs and how our canines actually work, these guys are scent specific. They need a scent article of the object that's missing to go and actually track. So we wouldn't be able to tell you, for example, if the airplane crashed on the ground, you have like 100 people on the ground, we would need a sweater from somebody on that ground to actually find out who we can actually track. We need an object of something specific to that person, human, cat, dog, ferret, cow, something that belongs to that object that these guys can actually track in their Ollie!
A new dog here.
Anyway, that's how these guys would work.
Explain more asphalt and grass.
Oh.
How their noses work.
Okay, so here's another thing about tracking dogs is that this specific canine team, as we are scent specific canines, which means we need an article to track that specific scent. So if your dog went missing, your cat went missing, your cow, your ferret, whatever went missing, we need an object of that specific to it. It's a cat bed, dog, whatever.
Sweater.
A sweater, a harness, a collar, anything. We need an article for that to start tracking. That's how these guys differ.
How they work with grass and asphalt.
Oh yeah. So the difference in environment is the biggest huge thing. So a lot of people will call us and be like, they'll tell us, people from here in Maine where we're heavily wooded, people from New York will actually call us where it's heavily more asphalt, community based. These guys will actually track. These guys, each dog is trained specifically to work in a specific environment. It's actually a lot easier, per se, for a canine to track on something that's wet, moist, green, or growing. So if you're in a heavily wooded area, if it's wet, or if it's damp, or if you're near like a bog, or if you're near, like any of those type of environments, it's a lot easier for a dog to track. If you're in an environment that has, like, say, New York City, you're on asphalt, you're brown, where there's like a lot of aluminum, or just even cement tracking, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Not that we can't do it, but we have different dogs to actually train and that have been trained to actually do a little bit better on that. That's why we have 10 canines. So we have ones that do a little bit better in grass areas, wooded areas, ones that actually work better on asphalt, aluminum, city-like. So we've trained, actually through training all 10 canines, we found which dogs work a little bit better on some areas, which works like excel in city street or wooded areas or water areas. So that's why we choose like different canines. So anyway, next.
So I'll talk about how our calls come in and what we do when we actually get a call from a client. We do have a voicemail screening system that your calls come in, you leave a voicemail with what your situation is, and then we call you back to actually screen people through. Not everybody that calls us needs to have us come out and track. So if you have a pet that has been missing for a couple of hours, it's a dog that, or any kind of pet, will most likely come home. We've had customers call with puppies, something that just got from a shelter, that actually we tell them wait outside in that area where the pet went missing, and within the next 24 hours they're right back to that same location. So more times than not, you don't need to have us come out. When you do, we actually will give you advice beforehand to do as a client, putting out posters, getting the word out online. If you have a high-risk animal, which are shelter pets, that's when we'll come out and track. We can give you the direction in which they're traveling. If you have a lot of sightings happening with your lost pet, that's another situation where we recommend putting out traps, staying in the area, going out with cheeseburgers, something as the pet owner yourself can do without having a tracking team come out. In the event that you do need us, we come out with at least 3 canines on every tracking. And Suzanne will explain kind of more of how our first process to the end on how our tracking actually works. Since we just came back from one. Two.
So when we come to the house, we come with 3 canines. Why do we bring 3? Because you need to always have the right tool for the job. Like Lisa explained, each one of our guys and gals is trained for a different environment. They have different attributes. So Levi, for instance, Levi is a great broad brush stroke dog. He air scents, he ground scents, he can track in the wind, he can track through the water. He is just 100% all-around solid tracker. So he's great in every environment. We have other dogs that excel in asphalt, high city, real suburban, lots of cars. Certain canines excel in that environment. So when we come with 3 canines, we only track with 1 at a time. So it's not a crazy pack of dogs running around looking for your lost pet. It's 1 dog and 1 handler. From there, we use your scent article, which is crucial. We should talk about that a little bit later. But your scent article gets presented to the canine, and we just hold on. So our job is to read the dogs. You know, we are not trackers, we are not professional trappers, we are canine handlers. These guys do the hard work. We go as far as they take us. So if that means through water, we go through water. If it's through a yard, it's through a yard.
We're live.
If that, hi. So we go where the dogs go. So, and it's always easier to ask forgiveness than it is permission. We love it when clients come with us. We want you to see how these dogs work. We want to see how we're going to bring your pet home, or at least help you bring your pet home. So when we come, you'll have plenty of notice. Dress appropriately, and let these guys do their job. We'll recap everything that we do with you at the end, and there's always homework. So tracking dogs are not the answer. They're not the end to finding your pet. Again, it's a tool in the toolbox to bring pets home, and I think a lot of times people feel that we're just going to walk out of the woods holding a dog, I found your dog, when a lot of times we're going to get you to an area your dog's been. We're going to get you to an area that they're currently in or have traveled through, which is a lot better than I have no idea where they are. We usually get calls a week since the pet's been missing, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So we're that much more, we're that much time behind them. So it's almost humanly impossible to catch up to an animal that's been gone for weeks on end. But we can get you a direction that they're heading and say, you need to focus in this town, in this neighborhood, you need to talk to these people. You know, so what's the likelihood of you bringing my pet home is usually connected to what's your success rate. Is anybody curious on what our success rate is? Okay, so everybody, this is a great question, and the reason it's a great question is because there's never a straight answer. I even took notes. So I get asked this question every person I talk to. And I'd love to say, you know what, we have a 97% success rate, but that would be a lie. First of all, nobody has high success rates of, and I use this example, the officer and the gentleman at the end of the movie, Richard Gere is walking out of the factory with the girl in his arms. Like, that does not happen. Success rate depends on our work. It mostly depends on your work. So, for example, what affects my success rate? The most important thing is your scent article. If you don't have a good scent article, if it smells like 5 other dogs from your house, if your scent article is contaminated, the success of finding your pet is going down. Now, if you brought your dogs out to search for your dog, your neighbor's dogs out to search for your dog, your entire neighborhood out to search for your dog, you've contaminated the area, that success rate is starting to go down a little bit more. So, scent article, other search dogs, hold on 1 second. There's a lot. How long has the pet been missing? This is important. So again, if your dog's been gone for a month and I'm just getting your call on day 31, I'm 31 days behind your dog. If I don't have a sighting of your dog in 31 days, I have no idea where he is. I have to start from the yard. So from the yard, I'm tracking a month and a day behind him. If you had a recent sighting, you know, your dog's been gone for a month and we just had a sighting 3 days ago, perfect. Now I'm only 3 days behind him. How do you get sightings? Putting up flyers. So don't think you don't go far enough. You have to go farther. You talk to everybody in your immediate neighborhood, you need to go farther. When you think that you've done enough, you need to do more. So sightings will always bring your dogs home. They will always, 100% all the time. Somebody seeing your dog gets us closer, gets you closer. success rate goes up. What's the environment? So scent sticks to stuff that's wet and stuff that's green and stuff that grows. So when it's snowing and it's negative temps outside, scent doesn't like to hang around for too long. When the wind is blowing really hard, think of scent like baby powder. So if I sprinkle baby powder out on the snow, it'll stick on the surface. If I add 10 inches of snow on top of that, now these dogs have to try and find scent under 10 inches of snow. It's really difficult. If the wind is really strong, it's going to blow the scent all over the place. So weather conditions and environmental conditions absolutely affect success. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. And then what's the involvement? So, and this is an example. We get a phone call from a client. The dog's been missing for 5 days. My first question is, what have you done? Right? So it's like, what have you done? Anybody who's been in this situation, you're like, I've done everything. I've called people. I put flyers everywhere. I've been on Facebook. And then I get to a neighborhood. I see 2 flyers. I talk to the neighbors. Nobody knows this dog is gone. So, really, it's what kind of impact has the owner had on him, on this animal missing before us getting there. We're not a quick fix, but we're going to help you hit those marks. These are the groups we need to talk to in order to get notification out there. These are the flyers and these are the neighborhoods that we need to start looking at. This is the area that you need to start focusing on. So it's really a partnership. When you call us, even if we don't track, we're going to help you no matter what. We're going to send you in the right direction to get the help that you need. If it's just you at home, you know how hard it is to flyer a neighborhood with 500 people? It sucks. So we can make phone calls and get volunteers to come and help. It's people are out there, and it only takes a little bit of humble to say, I done screwed up, I lost my dog, I need some help, and we will help you get your dog back, regardless or not we use trackers. So to kind of circle back, what's the success rate? The success rate depends on all of these things. I can tell you every time I bring these guys out with a solid scent article, I'm giving you 150% of what I'm capable of and what these dogs are capable of. But if by the time I leave and I tell you that that dog is in an area the size of that bar and back, if you don't look for him, if you don't stay there and bait, if you don't tell your neighbors, then you're not going to get your dog back. So we kind of rely on that partnership that we create when we go out to the house. So they work hand in hand, and these guys can only do so much. So it's more than just tracking. So as an owner myself who lost an animal and had Lisa, I was a client before I became a handler. So I know what it's like to do everything and then rely on these guys, but I still had to do. I didn't get them home after the track, and I had that expectation. I had 3 expectations when Lisa came to track for me. Either he was going to be found dead, which that's a likelihood. I have to keep an open mind. I'm going to find him. That's a possibility. I hope, but it's still, it might not. But at least she could tell me, where did he go? Because I spent 9 days looking in the same quarter mile around my house because that's what everybody told me to do. I didn't know to look any further. I didn't know to flyer any further. And he was 2 miles as the crow flies, away from my house. So if I didn't, and it was Levi that tracked him. If I didn't have that knowledge to go 2 miles out, I would not have gotten my boy home. So he came back on his own, and it was because I went to that area. Flyers. I dragged scent articles home through the woods, and he came back 4 days later. He was in my backyard. So I honestly believe wholeheartedly, as somebody who's been through the experience, I would not have gotten him back if it wasn't for that dog and that woman. So, but I had work to do. It didn't end with Lisa. I had to do the work. So success rate, I can tell you, every time you guys call us, you're going to get everything that we have to give you. This job was worth leaving a career because it's selfless and it makes me feel good to help people that are in that bottom of the barrel, most desperate moment. And if we can only bring one more dog home or one more cat home, or at least get you guys in the area that they are, that's the difference. So it might not happen to you, and I hope it doesn't, but you'll know somebody, and you're going to see a post on Facebook. What do? I lost my dog, please help me. And you're going to say, hey, you know what? Maybe you should call these guys. Like, they can at least give you some advice, point you in the right direction. If you need to be track away, but we can certainly help pet owners out when they feel like they've hit a wall. So. Oh yeah, so I was in Connecticut. I've been in Connecticut on a cat track, and I was in Massachusetts for a dog this morning. It's just, you do what you can, you stack it up, and I'm with these people until their pets come home. I email them at night, they text me at 2 in the morning, they call me at 6 a.m. Questions, advice, moral support, what do I do now? We are always available, so.
Yeah, we love it. All right, go ahead, open it. What do you got? We actually, where we're based out of, it's a private company. I actually have all the dogs at my house.
At your house?
Yeah, they're actually, all the canines actually live in my house. They're actually working dogs in the daytime, and then at nighttime they actually all work pets. So everybody always asks, are they working dogs? Or do they all stay in your house? Some do. I alternate between, I have 11 dogs at my house right now. So I alternate between 5, 6, 3, 0 in my house at a time. And but we are located in Bowdoin, Maine. So we're local in this area. Go ahead. Who's got questions? No? I can't hear anything you say, but I guess it's
I have a couple of questions about birds. Talk about your phone calls to take your birds, people contact you, how you question them, find out if they leave right. People can say I want to answer that question. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Dan, you got that?
So there was a lot of questions. Okay. So we had one question of, is there a fee to call us? No. We don't charge you to call us on the phone. If you have a question, if you have a concern, if you're just curious about who's in the area, what kind of resources do I need, we don't charge for you to call us, text us, email us, Facebook message. If you intend to use our services, then you'll get an itemized bill that shows exactly what we charge for. But if it's just general questions and follow-up, that's never a charge. There's a lot of teams out there that, up front, you're charged $100 before they even say hello. They're not going to tell you anything unless you hand them a Visa card, and we will never do that. So you have full carte blanche of our expertise and all the information that we have without using our tracking service when you contact us.
I think we have all personally spent hours on the phone or emails back and forth with people just to help as much as we possibly can without even tracking. So we're there at all times.
What other questions? No one?
Yeah, we should close it down and just say the Facebook people that will answer all their questions.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. We will get back to you with all of your answers to your questions. Thanks.